Well, here we are again. It's Saturday, the 16th of June, I believe the date is today. Hope you're all doing extremely well. I've been contemplating this video for a few days. I tried to make one the other day on the River Danube, but the wind was just far too strong. But what was interesting from that walk along the Danube was looking at the contrast of nature. The river was flowing one way and the wind blowing the other way, and it gave this illusion that the river was running in the opposite direction, which is really the beginning of my walk that day. And one of the things that I mentioned during that video was our life is like a river. A river flows. A river follows a path. A river follows its journey from beginning to end, from a mountain or a stream, all the way through to the sea, or to a lake, or to wherever it's going. Its journey is determined. And the way a river flows, because of its power, because of its energy, and because of the way that it flows, it erodes, and it has no obstacles, it sees no obstacles. It's flowing in a certain direction. Maybe there's a bend. The energy of the river will still flow around the bend, but what it will do, it will erode certain parts of the riverbank to try and make that route as straight as possible, as direct as possible, compared to an airplane which will fly as the crow flies, the quickest and most direct route. But a river will always flow a natural course. And this reminded me of what life is about. And life is a journey from beginning to end. From the day we're born, we're all going to pass. This is one event, this is one thing that we as man have to face, that reality. That's a truth. However much we want to try and avoid it, that's one thing for sure that's going to happen. There's a beginning and an end. Our existence on this planet is predetermined. And however we get to that end is a journey. And the way that humanity is today, humanity is the wrong word, because humanity, the way that man is today, he's so focused on getting everywhere so quickly, so fastly, and in the most direct route possible. And he's not willing to meander around, or walk around, or drive around, or sail around, to really appreciate what life is. So our ego is determined because of whatever influence, our own influence, because we make those decisions. Can we get from A to B quicker? And when we get to B, are we happy? If we're not happy, okay, so we're going to go again from A to B. So we're just going in straight directions. And it's this randomness that we're following. There's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. There's no pot of gold at any end of any rainbow, because that is a mirage, that's an illusion created by Mother Nature. Life is real. Life is full of pleasant and unpleasant surprises. Life is full of beauty. Life is full of divine things. And our own divinity is the most divine essence out of all of that. And we choose consciously what decisions to make. Now, what I found and discovered and realized is that we're influenced in making those decisions, whether it's by another human being, by somebody's marketing tactics, or by a certain lifestyle, or by a religion, or by whatever means possible. We're influenced. Other people's opinions influence us into making a decision. So when we look at a river and the way that a river flows, if you look at the River Thames, for example, how that's evolved over its lifetime, look at the number of bends that have now being made into straight lines because of the river. The river's life. The river has evolved. And this is a natural and slow process. Whereas we are, as I said just now, we're constantly, boom, let's get there, here and now. And we're forgetting to appreciate all that is. And that's really quite simple. Human evolution is going in one direction, but we as man today are trying to change the course of how man will evolve with new technology, with new templates, with new ideas, with new visions, with all of this. But whose vision are we buying into? Are we buying into somebody else's vision? Are we buying into somebody else's illusion? Life is full of riches. Life is full of precious jewels and gems, and not material ones. Not how man today says a jewel is a jewel. We are jewels. You're a jewel. You're a gem. You're a mystic. You're incredible. You have incredible powers, but those powers have been given away by each and every one of us to somebody else or to something else, because we've bought into somebody else's dream. And when we take our self back into ourselves, when we're looking in the mirror, we're looking at ourselves. The reflection is the opposite of us. And when we look in those eyes, we can see the yearning inside to live our lives in a different way. Because we're never happy when we've got what we believe is what we're seeking. So what are we seeking? Peace, love, joy, harmony, tranquility. And I know that this week, last 10 days, a tremendous amount of other people's truths have been presented to me. And these truths are some things that a parent or a father doesn't want to hear or doesn't want to believe are possible. But they have happened, and they're real, and they're truth. So we're being forced to look at all of these truths, whether they are contributed by other people and their actions in our lives, or other people and their interactions with our lives. How do we perceive them to be? What are acceptable? What are required? And when you lift all of the veils of illusion from every situation, you're drawn to yourself. What sits and resonates with you? What do you believe is the right thing to be doing? What do you believe is the correct thing to be doing? And especially when you have children. Our children are our triggers. Our partners are our triggers. And when something happens in our children's lives that affect us, we look at our truth. We look at what we did as a child, or we look at what our parents would have done had we done the same as a child. But because man has evolved so rapidly, the two situations are incomparable. So we have to take a view of today. We have to look at today and say, okay, what is right? What is the best thing to do in these situations? And I'm very proud of the fact that I've taken the time to take a deeper look at something that would have a few years ago caused a major crisis, and asked questions of myself. Okay, Dean, what do you need to do to help the situation improve? You give somebody the benefit of the doubt. If somebody continues to abuse that benefit of the doubt, what is destroyed? It's my trust in that person, not that person's trust in me. So the point of this, I believe, is the river is flowing, and our life path is that river, and we will follow that river, or we will try and take a shortcut. And those that are taking shortcuts will always end up back on the river, whether it's back where they started from or in a new place. And in that new place, they have to decide, what have they missed? What lessons have they not learned? What beauties have they avoided? Because for sure there's some beauties that you've missed on that path. You may have missed frogs singing on the riverbank, or you may have missed swans flowing down the river, but you will always be brought back to that point where you ventured off that path or that river course. You will always be brought back to that point. And no matter how hard we try to avoid truth, our truth, not anybody else's truth, our truth, we have free will. We can choose to confront it and follow that river path, or we can choose to avoid it and go straight. When we avoid, we will come back to deal with it again. And we will have to go through that learning, that lesson, the lessons of learning that we've avoided. Because there are no shortcuts in life. We're here to fully appreciate everything on this planet for ourselves, not what man or other people say is what we should be feeling or what we should be enjoying. We need to have those life lessons ourselves, and we need to fully appreciate it. So when a dilemma comes along and we are forced to deal with it, we're forced to deal with it in a way that is in sometimes very, very painful, especially if you've given the benefit of the doubt or full, unequivocal trust, unconditional love. How we respond is very, very important. If we can embrace that and find a solution in unconditional love, we are learning more from ourselves, and we can appreciate those lessons in which we have avoided by taking those shortcuts. Shortcuts are good in some situations. Sometimes you get lost on those shortcuts. Sometimes you make a mistake or you take a wrong turning on those shortcuts, and you miss these important and crucial life lessons that need to be had. And believe me, you will have them. You will be taken back to a place or to a new place where you will have to experience what you've avoided. So the moral of this message is really, don't be afraid of the truth. There can be no fear in truth, because that is what is. And there can be no fear in love, because love is pure. Love cannot be tainted with superficial or external matters, because love is pure and unconditional. And whatever lessons I have to deal with or have had to deal with this week, they've made me stronger. But I've also realized that I have learned so much. Now I'm back on the correct river path, having woken up and realized that the illusion that I was creating in my life was literally an illusion. But one thing that has remained is that pure love for my beloved. So when all is said and done, there are still things that I need to do, more lessons that I need to learn. There are more situations that I need to deal with, particularly around my children, to ensure that they too are also of that position of unconditional love, that they understand what love is, that they understand that river path is the river path. And my responsibility as a parent is not just to my children. My responsibility is to all children, to share my experiences, to share my knowledge and wisdom with others, so that they too may see that the path that they're on is not the right river path for them. And seeing all of this stuff around things that we are supposed to love, that, sport. Here in Europe, we have the European Football 2016 Championships, and it's marred with violence, it's marred with aggression, it's marred with pitch battles and displays of aggression that don't belong in sport. People love their sports, people love what they do. And now this invasion of violence is brought in front of, so you can't watch a game of football now in Europe without seeing or hearing about violence or aggression. There's something fundamentally wrong. It's a rich man's sport these days. It's driven by millions and millions and millions of dollars and pounds. It's not about the sport anymore that I used to love. It's now about money. And when I was a kid, money wasn't involved in this sport. Now it's money. The richest football teams in the world are mostly in the United Kingdom. And that's in the space of 30 years. It's become dominant. So it's a sad world that we live in, but we can turn our world, and there are distinct differences between the world and our world. Our microcosmos can be the most beautiful, most precious place in the entire planet, because we create that space. So take control of that space in which you live. Take control of the space in which you share with your loved ones, with your family and friends. Take control of it. Create your microcosmos and allow that to be your world, because nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. It doesn't matter whatsoever, because your unit of love is strong, it's anchored. And allow others to see that and share that with others. And you become an anchor point. You become a waypoint. You become part of the grid of love and light. And from there you can grow. I do strongly believe that those that are twins, that are not in contact or in situations with their beloveds, each of us is going through some form of deeper cleansing. And we're now dealing with the souls that we love in our lives, and we're helping them heal and clear also. And that's the most important thing. Our beloveds are always with us. They will always be with us. And I know what I feel inside is pure. And I know what I feel inside is right. And I know that that love of my beloved and for myself will continue to take me on this journey of evolution, of expansion. And I will continue to share messages of love and light with those that want to hear. So, take control of yourself. Take control of your life. Feel that love and allow it to flow through you. And be at one with yourself. Take care. Namaste.